Well, it's a very good evening and welcome. Got a few people just joining us now. Welcome to my CeMAP Transformed Live. Got a few people coming in now, so that's good news all around. I've got 4 or 5 people live as we speak. So let's get straight down to action, if you like, and talk about what we've got planned for you. So let's talk about some changes coming up, shall we? I'm going to have a chat and see how this is all going to work for you. Okay, so let's just kick off away from my little introduction sound music. I quite like that tune. We'll get away from that one. We'll take a look at CeMAP exam changes for 2025-26. Got 3 or 4 more people just joining us now, which is great. Here's how it's going to work. I'm going to do a presentation for you of the changes and outline everything for you in some depth. I've opened up the chat box so you can type in any questions you like. Got much more people coming in now. Got 16 people coming in live already. We've got 75 registered, so it'd be great to see a few more people coming in live. So the chat box is opened up and you can say hi if you want to on the chat box. I've got the Q&A box opened as well, but the chat box is a lot easier. You'll find the chat box in the screen around you. Just click on that and you'll be able to type in questions as you wish to as well. And I've got a few questions, a few people emailed me beforehand. So lots of questions as we go along. And obviously I'll stop at the end and take any questions that you've got. So enough of that. Let's get into our CeMAP exam changes for 2025-2026. And for those of you who don't know, I'm Paul Archer. Hi, Alina. I've just captured you there on the chat box. Thank you for coming on in. So why are there changes going on? Well, there's a bit of history going on here. CeMAP was first created in 1999. I remember doing my exam back there when I was much younger than I am now. And the current format of CeMAP was created in 2004 when mortgages became regulated. But the current format, you see, was based in 2004 when the world was very different. You had banks and building societies dominating the advice scene. The brokers were few and far between 21 years ago. Obviously now it's very different. They've had their critics, so they've, rightfully so, they revamped the whole thing to make it much more fit for purpose for the modern mortgage advisor and mortgage broker. So that's good news. Anyway, let's talk about what they've done. And by the way, I like what they've done. Very clever, bunch of clever people down there. So let's talk about the plans. First of all, key dates and timelines for you, because you've got to be aware of the dates and timelines if you're thinking about doing your CeMAP as we stand. So let's take a look at some dates. I've got 4 for you on this screen. I've got 29th of September 2025. I've got 30th of September. I've got 24th of October, very accurate here. And I've got 10th of November. These are the first timelines. Now, the 29th of September 2025 is where you need to register if you want to do the old CeMAP. So you've got the new one coming in, but they've got the old one at the same time. So for 3 to 4 months, the two will combine. You'll be able to choose which one you do. And at the end of this session, hopefully you'll make that choice. But if you decide that you want to go for the old version of CeMAP, you've got to register and pay the LIBF a fair amount of money for the exams by the 29th of September. On the 30th of September, the first date you can register for the new CeMAP. So you can't register for it yet. It's not open for business yet. And that's the way it is. So you have to wait until then to register for the new CeMAP if you wish to do so. But I'm going to give you some ideas that you can bring that forward in a moment. The 24th of October is when they're going to bring in the new material, the new exams are available, and they've got a load of stuff as well over there, which you can have a look at if you want to, which is great. On the 10th of November, that's when the exams become available to sit. So you can't do the exam until the 10th of November. That's for the new CeMAP. The old one, you can do it when you like, but the new one, you can't do it until the 10th of November. But then again, September into November, that's a month and a half. That's pretty good time to do your first CeMAP. Notice you do the exam via Brightspace now. Big change that. Not a lot of people were aware of this one. Big change. You might want to think about that. Okay, some more deadlines and timelines for you as well. Got a lot more people joining us now, so it's great. Some more deadlines for you. Got 3 here for you. January 26, and July 26, obviously next year. 12th January 2026. This is the final date to sit your old exams via the old system and confirm if you wanted to carry on doing the old CeMAP 1 for the next few months. So really what I'm saying here is if you want to do the old CeMAP, you've got to get it done, passed by 12th of January 2026, which is doable. You've got most of August still. You've got September, October, November, December. You've got 5 months or 4.5 months if you don't count much of August. And that's easily doable to get all CeMAPs out of the way if you put your foot down and get going. On the 13th of January, all remaining learners on the current version, that's the old CeMAP, will be automatically transferred to the new version, except old CeMAP 1 learners who opted to stay. Because you could theoretically still do the old CeMAP 1 right up until July 26, which is a bit odd really why they've done that, but that's not their decision. So the real message there is if you want to do the old CeMAP, you've got to pass them by then as well. And that's retakes as well counted there. And then they just swap you over to the new one. So that's the timelines. Just keep looking down for questions. If anyone's got questions, by the way, just tap away and I can read it down there so I can easily see that for you. I hope you're all well, by the way, enjoying your summer, because the next couple of weeks looks really nice here in the UK, doesn't it? Anyway, let's take a look at what's changing. The big change is FSRE is replacing UKFR. What does that mean? Well, UKFR was the old CeMAP 1. Stands for UK Financial Regulation. That's the one that's been tested for 21 years. It was okay, but it was a bit too in-depth on things like investments and pensions and unit trusts. In some areas we hardly really touched as mortgage advisors. The new one, Financial Services Regulation and Ethics, much more up to date. Ethics course, vulnerable customers, consumer duties in there as well. A lot more on regulation. But general financial services now, there's a little bit more there on taxation and economics, macroeconomics, how the government runs the economy, that sort of thing. A bit more on trusts and legacies and law of intestacies, a little more on that as well. So they've taken some in-depth stuff out and put some new stuff in. It's a brand new syllabus, is FSRE. So what's some bit more detail for you? First of all, it is a level 4 now. It's being replaced by FSRE, which we said there. There's a point there. It's a level 4 qualification with more rigorous content. I don't know if you know your levels. CeMAP is level 3 and FSRE is level 4. And IFAs can go up to level 6 chartered status if they want to. The IFA basic exam is level 4. So you've got a level 4 exam now, CeMAP 1. It's harder, it's tougher, more rigorous exam questions. You have to really think about them. Gone are the days where you can just do a load of tests to pass CeMAP 1. Because a lot of people do that, don't they? Just do loads of tests and they learn the questions and then they pass. They don't remember much, but they pass. And that's fine, not judging that. People. The point is you can't just do flashcards and learn by rote. You've got to understand the new FSRE. You've got to be able to put it into practice. That's how the questions will ask you for as well. 2 units. You've got free 1, which is Unit 1, Industry Regulation and Key Parties, Unit 2, which is Skills, Principles and Ethical Behaviours. It's still, though, a 70% pass mark. So whole new material, whole new book, whole new videos, everything's all new on the FSRE CeMAP 1. Remember, you can do the old one up until January if you wish to, but you've got to register. Or you can sit around until mid-September and do the new one. It's entirely up to you. Now, what about CeMAP 2 and CeMAP 3? What are they doing to these papers? Well, the new CeMAP 2 structure for you. Not a huge amount of change here, which is good news all around. So let's just sort of talk about these for you. It's now split into 2 units, but it used to be 4 units and incredibly difficult to pass because you had to pass the individual tiny units, 4 of them. And the third unit only had 20 questions, so you had to get 70% of that. It was quite tricky. Now 2 units, so that's really good news for you. Unit 1 is now mortgage law, practice and application. It's the old units 3 and 4 added up, really, pretty much the same. Unit 2 is mortgage products and post-completion now, which is good. Because what they did last year, a couple of years ago, they put protection in, didn't they? Which meant there was too much in there. They've taken protection out. Come on to that in a second. So there's now more space now for mortgage products. So of course, the 7% pass mark there for you. The content covered from CeMAP 2 is the same content as I mentioned to you before as well. 50 questions in the unit, so same number of multiple choice questions. Unit 2, though, a little bit of changes here you'll notice, is there's now 50 questions, of course, but it's more focused on specialist mortgages as well as post-completion matters. Here you've got the modern world of the mortgage broker, and she's dealing with second charges, she's dealing with buy-to-lets, SPVs, she's dealing with equity release or later life lending now as well. She's dealing with all sorts of specialist mortgage products, semi-commercial to a degree as well. So she's got to know a lot more than the old CeMAP would teach you. So be careful of that one. You need to really get comfortable with specialist mortgages. And besides, you're going to do that when you become qualified. So you really ought to be learning about it, shouldn't you? SPV, buy-to-lets, equity release, second charges, bridging, for example. All these things are mainstream. You can get involved in those areas if you wish to. You just need to pass your CeMAP. So that's the CeMAP 2 structure. No sound, so Richard. Okay, well, let me just double check my sound, make sure people can hear me and see me. 16 people are still online, so I guess they can possibly hear me as we go through. So I'm not sure, Richard, why there's no sound coming your way. There is a recording if your sound is not working, and you can obviously watch the recording pretty quickly after this is finished as well. Apologies for that one. Okay, let's get on to CeMAP 3 then, the new CeMAP 3, because there's a few changes going on here as well. New CeMAP 3 content for you. So what have we got? Well, first of all, we've got CeMAP 3 is renamed now. It's called Assessment of Mortgage Advice Knowledge. It does make a lot of difference. It includes now the content from protection advice and products from the old CeMAP 2. So the old CeMAP 2 Unit 5 is now in CeMAP 3. So there's new content to study with CeMAP 3. CeMAP 3, you see, never had new content, did it? It was always, you had to remember the stuff from CeMAP 2 and it just tested you on that. But now you've got new content. Not only have you got content on protection products, advice and all those good things, which is a large amount of stuff, you've also got this stuff here: skills, ethics, holistic advice approach, soft selling skills, how to build trust, how to communicate with clients, how to ask open questions, that sort of thing. It's pretty okay, the stuff in the book, and you're going to get questions on it. So that's, of course, what you need to learn, which makes sense, isn't it? You've still got 6 case studies though with 10 multiple choice questions each. So it's the same format, 60 multiple choice questions based around case studies. So that's CeMAP 3. So, quite a few things. Yeah, a couple of people can hear me, so that's good. Sorry about that, Richard. Watching the recording may help you. So, let's have some guidance now and some ideas for you to think about. If you're sitting down at home now thinking about doing your CeMAP, or you're halfway through your CeMAP, what are you going to do? What are your options, really? Well, remember, you have the option of doing the old CeMAP. Obviously, you've got to get it done by January next year, but that's 5 months away. Or you can start the new CeMAP if you prefer. They're both the same currency. You're still going to be qualified for both. Any network or employer will only require you pass CeMAP, whether it's the old one or the new one. And if you've got, say, CeMAP 1 from the old one, you get an exemption from CeMAP 1 on the new one. So there's no differentiation between the two. So it's entirely up to you how you operate. So let's look at some guidance then for you that might give you some ideas about what you're going to do. Okay, what I've got for you, a couple of points coming up. Consider completing all CeMAP modules before January 2026 to avoid the transition. It's the first thing you might want to think about. It's up to you, of course, how you want to handle that. It's up to you how you want to handle that. A couple of quick questions coming in now. Are all the new exams still multiple choice? Yes, they are, James. They're all multiple choice exams as before. Some are case study based now. You get little mini case studies and then you get questions following the case study. CeMAP 1, the FSRE, there's now a few case study questions built in, but they're all multiple choice. So that's a good question that you asked there as well. So consider completing all CeMAPs then before January to avoid the transition. Number 2, exams are by unit only now if required. I don't know why they've done this really, but if you wanted just to do unit 1 of the FSRE, you could. Or if you just wanted to do unit 2 of the CeMAP 2, you could do. I don't quite see why you want to do that, but that's an option available to you as well. Point number 3 there, exams are online now through Brightspace via the remote invigilation, only giving full control of exam schedule. Now, what they're saying here is the new exam, the new CeMAP, you can't go to the driving test centres anymore, and you can't do it at home under the Pearson VUE setup. You do it through their own Brightspace. Brightspace, as you know, is their online portal, which you sign up for when you spend some money with them, and you get the portal with your name on it, etc. You do the exam through there, which is new. So one would trust that they've had it fully tested and it's fully working. But the old CeMAP, you can still go down to the driving test centres and do it. Big change for people that don't want to do it, but I've got a few thoughts to share with you on that one as well. FSRE level 4 are more challenging. We made that point. It is harder than CeMAP 1. It is. There's no doubt about it. 4 is higher than 3, and there's new material to learn. For example, it dives into trusts a whole lot more than you've ever done before. Discretionary trusts, bare trusts, Married Women's Property Act trusts, all different trusts. It dives into the legal aspects of death, lasting plans of attorney in more detail as well. A little bit more on regulations. So there's a bit more content there, although less on investment products and things like that. But you'll need to take a look at the book for that one. The new CeMAP 2 and 3 includes more specialised content and updated format. So specialist mortgages are included much more in the new CeMAP, which they should anyway, really, because that's what you're going to be talking about. Over here, learners should prepare for more in-depth questions and case-based assessments. There's still multiple choice questions following the case studies. So that's good news, isn't it? Okay, over here. Existing CeMAP materials are still valid for the new CeMAP. You can still use the old book, although if you register for the new exam, they'll send you the new book or you'll get online access to the new book. We've updated all our material, and I'll tell you about that in a second. But they haven't changed the world. The world hasn't changed. I mean, a mortgage is still a mortgage, a repayment mortgage is still a repayment mortgage. So the old stuff in the old books is still relevant for the new exam, which makes sense, doesn't it? Anyone who transfers over to the new CeMAPs are given a new 12-month period of pass. I think that's nice. So say, for example, it came along January and you still hadn't passed your CeMAP 3. They'll switch you over to the new CeMAP 3 and give you another 12 months to pass it, which is nice of them, isn't it? So they're very generous in that respect. And we're doing the same with our bootcamp as well. And the last point is exemptions are given for earlier passes in CeMAP. So say, for example, you've passed your CeMAP 1 and you want to do the new CeMAP 2 and 3, then your existing pass on CeMAP 1 will exempt you from the new CeMAP 1. You don't have to do the new FSRE exam. So there's a few points there for you, which is good. Okay, taking any questions anybody wishes to ask as we go along. I've got the chat box right there in front of me, so anyone got any questions they want to ask, just shout now. Now, one of the big changes that I think will surprise quite a few people is how you take the exam. Now, since 2000, I remember going down to Wolverhampton in my car in 2000, which is 25 years ago. I went to a driving test centre to take a look at the new CeMAP exam being done in the driving test centre. You have these big old CRT monitors, and you've been able to do that for a long time, although you have to wait a few months to take your exam. But you can obviously do it at home as well, using Pearson VUE's setup, which uses American assessors and that sort of thing. And it works, but it's a bit fiddly. Now they've changed it. The only way you can do the new exam is by going on their Brightspace hub, signing in, and you do the exam on that forum, on that portal. So there's a few changes going on here. Let me just talk about some of the issues here to get you thinking about it. I've got a slide here which talks about the new exam experience because it is new and it will catch a few people out. Just give you a few ideas, really. Convenience, flexible timing, and seamless experience. This comes straight from the LIBF's website, as you probably appreciate. You can sit your exam in the comfort of a familiar setting, either at home or at work. As long as it's private, not people walking around or dogs or cats, you can sit it in the comfort of your own home, which is nice as well. Avoid the stress and time of travelling to a test centre, which is great. Actually, driving to a test centre is not that stressful. Actually, you park up, don't you, walk in, they greet you, and it's all rather nice as well. Use any PC or laptop, no special hardware required. That's important. The old system, you had to use your own personal computer, didn't you? You couldn't use a work computer. And you had to shut everything off and only have one monitor. So now, of course, you just go straight onto the your normal computer or laptop will work. I wouldn't do it on a tablet or a phone. You want to be doing it on at least a laptop or a PC. Flexible timing, you can do whenever you want. You don't have to pre-book. You just rock up and do it when you want. Take your exam any day, any time within your registration period. So you don't have to tell people you're going to do the exam. You just do it, you know. If you wake up on Sunday morning and you want to do Unit 3, you can do it if you wish to, which is great. No. Seamless experience, user-friendly interface designed for smooth navigation. You're used to the portal, the Brightspace, that helps. A fully integrated exam reduces connectivity issues. And the point here is no software installation needed. That's key. A lot of people used to use their work laptops, and when Pearson VUE tried to put software on it, the work computer said, no, we're not doing that, because the IT guys had blocked any software being put on your computer because they're worried about being scanned. So you don't need to do a software installation. You just need to use your web browser to go onto Brightspace, and there it's there for you. The final point is optimized for low bandwidth, which means if your Wi-Fi is pretty awful, it'll still work. Whereas under the old Pearson VUE system at home, you have to have really strong Wi-Fi. So there's a couple of points there for you. A couple more points on this thing. Pre-exam requirements and restrictions. Let's talk about these quickly. A 360-degree scan of your testing area is required before you start. So you log onto your laptop, you've got your screen, you go in there and you go for the exam, you press the button, and then they take over your webcam and they look around the room. So you may have to pick up your webcam or pick up your laptop and move around to show. And they use AI and various aspects to see if there's anybody there behind you telling you the answers. That's the whole point behind it. And the second point here, ensure your equipment is fully functional and maneuverable. Makes sense, doesn't it? Because your laptop or you have a webcam that you can pick up and move around. Restrictions. A couple of restrictions for you. No toilet breaks allowed during the exam. A bit like flying on Ryanair, isn't it? You have to pay them, don't you, to go to the toilet, or you just don't bother. So no toilet breaks allowed. And work devices or VPNs may cause firewall issues. Check compatibility in advance, of course. So if it's a work computer or you've got a virtual private network installed, because a lot of people apparently have been downloading them in the last couple of weeks for a reason, which I won't mention. So, of course, VPNs are not good things. That won't allow it to work very well. Good. Okay, a couple more questions coming down the line now. Thank you. If I fail CeMAP 3, let's say in January, and they move me over to the new CeMAP 3, will that cost more for changing over to the new setup? Good question. It won't cost you any more money from the LIBF because they will just give you a 12-month access to the new CeMAP 3. They'll give you the new CeMAP book, so you can then have a look at that and study the book as well. Remember, the new CeMAP 3 comes with protection stuff in there, so life assurance, income protection, that sort of thing, and skills and sales. So you'll need to read that, but they'll give you access to that for free. They won't charge you for that. But you can go back to your old CeMAP 2 book, which has got the protection chapters in it anyway, so it's the same information. And you can then take your CeMAP 3 at your leisure. So they're actually working really hard to make the transition as smooth as possible. I mean, I know a lot of them down there, good people. They really want this to work because they're ahead of the game with this online exam experience. And updating the whole CeMAP is really good for them because it's bringing them much more up to date with the modern market. So, hats off to them as well. So that's a great question. Thank you as well. Good. Okay, let's take a look at what we're doing here. You might be interested. We've been busy creating new materials and we're still just finishing them off, proofing them, checking them, etc. So we've got some new materials launching. We're launching on the 8th of September. I mean, they're virtually ready, and hopefully we'll may even have them available before 8th of September, but we'll have the big bang, if you like, the big PR bang on the 8th of September. What have we got? Well, we've got the new boot camps. We've got CeMAP 1 bootcamp, FSRE, as you can see, that's how we're calling it the new one, so you can distinguish the difference. We've got CeMAP 2 and the CeMAP 3 bootcamp. So all videos, all the audios, podcasts, all the tests, all in there for you to enjoy, fully structured, proper lesson plans, etc., just as we've had before. And we're keeping the price for the full one. If you buy all three together, we're keeping the price the same. So, although there's a lot of new material, so I think that's good for us. Podcast series for all three now, CeMAP 1, CeMAP 2, and the CeMAP 3 podcast has got all the stuff on protection, the sales side as well. And the CeMAP 2 has got more information about the specialist mortgage stuff in there as well. And the CeMAP 1 FSRE is a complete new recording of FSRE because it's all new material. So you'll like that. They, of course, are included in the bootcamp. Here we've got the revision guides. We've got new FSRE revision guide, new CeMAP 2, new CeMAP 3. Again, these contain the bullets of all the topic condensed down with all the stuff out of it. The new book's quite a big affair. The new FSRE book's about 550 pages. So we've got this new revision guide which summarises it all for you. Lots of cartoons and stuff like that. Big test at the back. Again, CeMAP 3 revision guide. It's got all the case studies in there still, but lots of new information about protection as well. We've also got the physical books. We've got digital online only, where you can view it on a screen or a tablet. But we've got the physical books as well, and we hope to have those by the end of August, early September, good to go. Down here we've got test collections because the new exams require new tests. I've got CeMAP 1, CeMAP 2. CeMAP 3 is contained over here in the CeMAP 3 revision guide, the case studies. And we've got a freebie thing if you want to go in and check this out. I've got 3 subjects live on the new FSRE, because we've been teaching FSRE for quite a few years. It's not a new exam. It's been around for 15 years, FSRE. So we've been helping people with that as well. Just let you know, the old CeMAP stuff is still available. That's important. I call it old. It's a bit of a derogatory term, really, because it's not old at all. They're up to date. We're going to update them, make sure they're fit for purpose. Available until January 2026. If you go onto our system and you're interested in the new or the old CeMAPs, then you can get hold of them way up until 2026. So we'll have both been available to you along the way, which is good. A couple more questions coming in now. I only have CeMAP 3 to do now. Good. So will I still have access to the old material on your training? Yes, you will. Yeah, you still got CeMAP 3. That's not changing. So keep your existing CeMAP 3. Remember to pay the LIBF by January. You want to do that the old one. So do the old CeMAP 3 in the old way. But 3 or 4 months to do it, didn't you? If you do switch over to the new one at any point, then let us know. You have to contact us, and we will then put the new CeMAP 3 bootcamp onto your portal for you. We won't charge you for that because that's not the right thing to do, is it? So bootcamps will just put the new one on for you, so you can keep doing that for as long as you need. Really, that makes sense, doesn't it? But you still have access to the old material, although it's not old really, because it's still up to date. But it's just the old CeMAP 1 and CeMAP 2 and 3. That's a good question. That's a very good question. So now's your chance to ask questions. Got 21 of you live, so that's good. And obviously the recording is going to go out automatically to you all, so you'll be able to watch the recording. Is it more expensive, Mikhail? Yeah, I think they've taken the opportunity to put a few quid on it. That's my pleasure, Julie. They put the opportunity to. I think that all they've done is they've just updated the prices as they would have done normally anyway. They're not making a profit from this, because they're an educational institute, aren't they? So the CeMAPs are slightly increased. For us, we've kept our bootcamp at the same price. If you buy all 3 as a CeMAP full bootcamp, we've kept it at the same price. And we've altered the podcast a little bit, but there's no need to that. Inflation's under control, guys. Yeah, inflation's three and a bit. Okay, it's not nil, but inflation's never nil. So you shouldn't start putting your prices up because inflation's under control. That's it. Here's another question. If I only pass 1 unit from CeMAP 1, will I still have to do both units for the new exam? Yes, you will. That's a thing to think about there, James, is because they don't correlate. The CeMAP 1 unit from the old CeMAP's not the same as CeMAP 1 or the new one. So you probably have to take both units. It's worth talking to the LIBF about that one. But they are actually slightly different. The unit 2 of the new CeMAP's is slightly different to unit 2 on the old one. And if you had a CeMAP 1 from the old one and CeMAP 2 from the new one, you wouldn't be the whole syllabus. Do you see where I'm coming from? So I think that would be an area where you'd have to take both units. They wouldn't charge you for it, but you'd have to take both units again. But then, if you pass one, you'll pass it again, won't you? Bit of a pickle, that one, isn't it? Yeah, I would assume so, but I don't know. That's a question that we can ping to them. But in my logic, you would have to do both units again, because you won't have covered the full syllabus, either the old one or the new one. That means that your knowledge is not up to speed and you shouldn't be regulated. That would be my logic. Nice one. Will all these changes take place January 26th, so everything remains at the same time? Pretty much, Zaid, yeah. If you don't do anything, you don't tell them or pay any more money to them, then you would be flipped over to the new one, because remember, you've got to register with them by September of next month, really. in order to be able to do the new. So you've got to register at the end of September before you can do the old exam. Let's put the guideline in there for you. It makes more sense, doesn't it? There we are. Slipping over my words here. You've got to register by 29th of September, the final date for you to register for any modules of the current version of CeMAP. So if you want to do the old one, you must register. You've got to physically go there and tell them you want to do the old one. And if that's the case, then you have to register with them and you can do the old one. And you've got until, as you can see from the next slide, you've got until, again, do that for you, 12th of January in order to sit it. If you don't register with them, let's put the other one on, then they will switch you over to the new one. They will, if you don't register with them, you won't be able to register after that date. You'll have to do the new version. So you have to get new materials, etc., etc. But if you've already paid and registered, you see what I mean? You've already done that, haven't you? So you're going to do the old one. It's only if you haven't registered for any new modules that you have to do that before. I hope that made sense. A bit confusing, that one. Apologies if I've confused you there. Really and truly, if you haven't paid for all your CeMAPs, CeMAP 1, 2, and 3, then you will have to register for them if you want to do the old ones. Otherwise, they'll just slip you over to the new stuff. And actually, the new stuff's okay. It's all right. It's good. It's good. It's good material. But you just might want to get the old ones done to get you out of the way. The currency is the same either way. There's no odds which one you pass. Employers don't have a preference. Okay. I've registered all. I just need to exempt. That's fine. So, if you've registered and paid your money, you are good to go on the old one. And you can carry on doing it in the Pearson View or the Driving Test Centre, and you'll have all the information you need. But make sure you pass them all by January. That's the thing. Make sure you pass them all by January, which sounds great, but of course the year goes on quickly, and you get a bit of pressure, a bit of stress. If you have to pass, you get a bit worried, mightn't you? But if you don't pass, you just flip over to the new version, can't you? A couple of questions people emailed me before we wrap up. What do you think the impact of the new FSRE replacing UKFR and CeMAP might be, Paul? Yeah, well, I think the new CeMAP 1 is going to be more rigorous. I think the number of people passing may come down until people appreciate the level of difficulty that level 4 exams have. There's a lot more material to learn. But on saying that, the old CeMAP was criticised for having too much on, in unit trusts, investments, pensions and stuff like that, which, we don't really come across. We're not financial advisors. So it had its critics in that area. So I think that's one of the impacts that will happen with the new CeMAP. But on saying that, it's a pretty good foundation exam for anybody really to do. Yeah, that's a good one. Good question. Let's keep an eye out for live questions. Got 20 people online. Another question from email came through. How do you feel about the new flexibility of online exams via Brightspace? Okay. I'm a bit on the fence really with that, if I'm honest. I think the convenience is handy, to be able to do the exam when you want. I think the idea that you can do the exam without having extra software put onto your system, that sort of thing, is brilliant. So you may, for example, have a work laptop in which you're using Brightspace on, but obviously you're accessing Brightspace in some laptop or some computer, so it's easy just to log in again and take the exam. I think that's pretty cool. I think as long as you prepare for the exam, you know what to do. We've got videos to explain how to do things. Then you're okay. A lot of people get nervous, if a bit of technology goes wrong or something, or if the Wi-Fi goes wrong, or if somebody comes in, people get nervous. So doing an exam at home is not perfect, but you do have to put some preparation in to do it. But once people get used to it, and you can do any unit anytime you want to, it's brilliant. That's my views. Yeah. Okay, another question. Are you planning to complete your CeMAP modules before January 26 to avoid the transition? Well, that's a question that you need to ask yourself. Are you going to plan to get it all done by January 26 in order to avoid the transition? Well, it'd make life simple for you, wouldn't it? Because you've got all the materials. You've probably studied a lot of it already. You don't want to restudy. Of course, the other thing is you don't know what is new or old when you get the new book, do you? They'll send you a new FSRE book, 550 pages, and you think, well, okay, well, what's new in here that I've not read before? So you end up reading the whole thing. So it's a bit pickly if you're transitioning across to the new exam. But if you haven't passed, say, 2 and 3, you might as well slip over to the new one for those as well. And which part of the new CeMAP 2 structure do you think will be most challenging? CeMAP 2 is an interesting one. I love the idea of having 2 units. That's a lot easier to pass them, isn't it, rather than tiny units. And I love the idea of finally testing you guys more on specialised mortgages. Bridging, equity release, SPV, buy-to-lets, portfolio landlords, that sort of thing. That's what brokers do. Brokers don't make a living by doing mainstream mortgages from high street lenders. You might do, but in the future you won't. You have to be specialised either in your customer or in the method of obtaining finance. So I think that's great. I love the way they've taken protection out of CeMAP 2 because it was too much in there. It was just too much. And you hardly got tested at all on products. And they've put that into CeMAP 3. You've got to learn a lot of new material on CeMAP 3. I think that's a brilliant way of operating. So hats off for that one as well. What are your thoughts on the inclusion of protection advice and soft skills in CeMAP 3? Yeah, that's a good thought. They've brought in soft skills. The chapter's okay. It's well written and it covers the advice process, how to do fact finding, how to ask questions, how to listen, how to build rapport, how to have empathy, how to build trust. So some good stuff in there. How they test that, not sure. There's a few questions about what you might do in situations with different clients under the case studies. I would have said it's a lot of common sense. If the chapter on sales skills makes sense, you should have no difficulty answering multiple choice questions on it because it's not technical, is it? It's not like the pension rules on UF plus, that sort of thing. It's logically you should be able to handle the questions really easily, I think. So I think it's good they've tried to put some advice skills in there because that's the job. Do you know if you qualify for any exemptions when transferring to the new CeMAP structure? Yes, you do. If you transfer to the new CeMAP structure, you will get exemptions for the old CeMAPs that you've already passed. I think we covered that. No. So if you already passed CeMAP 1, you'll get an exemption from the new CeMAP 1 as well. We had that query about the units. I think you'd have to retake the whole 2 units. But I'll double check with my mate actually at LIBF and put that answer out to anybody that wishes to know. That's good. That's good. Okay, a couple here for you. How are the exams invigilated remotely? Would it be like the uni where I had to stare at the camera for the whole exam? That's funny. Well, it's not funny at all. Yes, you will. You will. They will be invigilated. They are going to use humans, but they'll also use AI in order to watch you because AI can, automated watching you, keeping your eye on the camera lens or keeping your eye on the screen of the laptop that you're on. It can work out where you're going. And it can see if your eyes are glancing off or down or wherever. So AI will take over. So you may know if there's a human, you may not because they only type at you. So it might be AI talking to you. Now, here's the rub. You do have to focus on the screen and you do have to focus on the camera. I don't want you looking anywhere. Remember, they've scanned the room. They know what's going on. I've done 3 or 4 exams under remote invigilation. I like them. I think it works really well. You don't have to drive into town, do you? And there's one point. What I like to do when I'm thinking, I tend to do this. It's just a habit. Oh, what was the answer to that one? And I was doing this, and the note came and said, "Mr. Archer, would you please take your hands away from your mouth?" Because they thought, I was doing. What's the answer, Bob? My mate Bob under the table. What's the answer to this one? They thought I was doing that. So yeah, you have to be very careful. But as long as you pre-prepare, go for a checklist, find out how it all works, it's fine. And of course, the scary thing is you get your result straight away. That's good. Well done. Good questions. Good questions coming through. Good questions coming through. Final thoughts? As any more questions come in, final thoughts for you? Well, it's a good move that they're doing some new exams. I think that's a great move on their part. I think they're updating it, and it's great to see that. We might find existing networks and employers might want to do some CPD for existing advisors. I would strongly recommend they did. So if I've got 60 ARs, for example, in my network firm, they passed the old CeMAP, I'd probably give them a test to encompass the new CeMAP areas just to make sure they're up to speed with CPD. You don't have to do that under the regulations, of course, but that's what I would do. Because I think the new information is good for you. It's good understanding, it's good information, it's good knowledge to help you do the job much better, of course. I think that's good as well. I think the big issue for you guys is you're in transition period, aren't you? And I think the rule is this. If you've already started your old CeMAP and you started reading a book or maybe a revision guide or something, maybe you paid some money, maybe you haven't, but if you've already started the old CeMAP, I think you should finish that one off. I think you should register with them by the December date, get registered, put in a timetable to get the thing done, get out of the way. It doesn't do you any harm having a timetable. Obviously, you'll have to pull your finger out and make it work. If, however, pardon me, you haven't started and you're thinking about it, I would just do the new one. I would do the new one. We'll have our material by the end of August. Go online, find out. We'll let you know what we've got. And you can buy our new stuff by 10th of September, and you can register at the end of January. Start getting the material through. Just do the new one. Why not? It's better than the old one. So you've got the new CeMAP. So when you go to your network, I've got the new CeMAP, which is all rather lovely, isn't it? So that's what I would probably do if I were in your shoes. But you have to make that decision yourself, of course. Just checking for any questions. No more questions coming down the line. So if anybody wants to email me, please do. It's paul@paularcher.com. That comes straight to me, by the way. I use AI, of course I do, but I actually answer my emails. I don't just shove them off to AI to answer. Obviously, I use AI in lots of things that we do in the business. So I can answer any of your questions for you as well. We've got some great new material coming through, particularly new boot camps, new videos, new live streams going out as well, new podcasts, some great material, just a chance to update it all as well, which is great. And help us you as much as we possibly can. And remember, if you want some more help in your career, because we're talking to brokers and networks all the time. We've got a number of networks that choose us for their training. So, we do know a lot of people that we put you onto these people, get you at the front of the queue and all that sort of stuff. Other than that, if there's no more questions, I've got yoga in half an hour. Can you imagine that? I do yoga. I'm not very good. I'm still the beginner's class, but I do an hour of yoga once a week. It stretches me. It makes me move around, which is great. I enjoy that. So I've got that in half an hour's time. So I'm going to enjoy that as well. Remember to email me if you've got any questions. Other than that, I'll catch you all very soon. Have a good day, everybody, and take care all.